You are watching history move slowly but dangerously. Because wars today do not begin with explosions, they begin with tension. The war between Russia and Ukraine is not just a regional conflict, it is a global power struggle involving military alliances, economic pressure, and competing visions of world dominance. At the center of this conflict is Russian leadership under Vladimir Putin, who has repeatedly argued that NATO expansion threatens Russia's national security. From Russia's perspective, Western military alliances moving closer to its borders
satellite imagery confirms
represents strategic pressure and long-term military risk. But from Ukraine's perspective, this war is about survival, independence, and the right to choose political alliances without external control. Ukraine has been caught between East and West for decades, making it one of the most strategically important regions in Europe. The United States has played an indirect but powerful role by providing military weapons, intelligence support, and financial aid to Ukraine while imposing strict economic sanctions on Russia. These sanctions targeted Russian banks, technology imports, and global trade systems in an attempt to weaken Russia's ability to sustain long-term military operations. However, war does not stay inside battlefields in the modern world. Conflicts spread through economies and global supply chains. The global economy felt the impact almost immediately as inflation rose and supply chains were disrupted across multiple continents. Europe was especially affected because many European countries depended heavily on Russian natural gas for energy production. When energy supplies were reduced, electricity costs increased, transportation costs increased, and manufacturing production slowed. This meant that people far away from the battlefield were still affected by the war through rising living costs. The human cost of this war has been devastating. Millions of Ukrainians were forced to leave their homes, cities were destroyed by missile strikes and artillery attacks, and civilian infrastructure such as hospitals, homes, and transportation systems were damaged. Every war statistic represents real human suffering. Families were separated, children were displaced, and soldiers on both sides lost their lives. The death toll continues to rise as the conflict continues. The nuclear threat makes this conflict even more dangerous because both Russia and NATO-aligned countries possess nuclear weapons powerful enough to destroy entire cities. The world experienced similar tension during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, but today, technology moves faster, communication spreads faster, and military systems can react within seconds. The greatest risk is not intentional nuclear war, but escalation through misunderstanding or miscalculation, such as a missile defense system misreading a threat, a drone crossing restricted airspace, or a military commander reacting too quickly to incomplete information. This conflict can also be understood as a competition between global power visions, where Russia, under Putin, represents centralized political control and long-term strategic influence, while Western alliances led by the United States represent multinational cooperation and economic pressure strategies. These are not just political systems, but competing visions of how global power should be organized in the 21st century. You might think this war will end with a clear victory, but most modern conflicts do not end that way. They usually end slowly through negotiations, economic exhaustion, or political pressure. History shows that superpower conflicts rarely end with dramatic victories. They usually fade over time after both sides pay heavy economic and human costs. The real danger is not who wins this war, but how long the world can maintain this balance of tension without one small mistake causing a much larger global crisis. Because history does not usually announce its biggest turning points. You only realize them after they have already changed the world. And right now, you are living inside one of those moments.